So I often hear, Shari, I'm sorry, I'm laughing so hard at this. I can't even do it with a straight face. But if you just like thought a little bit like a producer when you wrote a script, your films have like nice narrative stories, but they're weird and they're not, think like a producer when you, no, I'm not going to think like a producer when I write, and you shouldn't either. Here's what happens, right? Producers want you to write what's in now. But the problem is they don't know what's going to be in by the time you finish your script. So if you listen to that voice going, well, horror films are in and horror films with people with chainsaws are in, so I'm going to write that. Well, you know what? By the time you finish writing that script, that's probably going to be a turd because it's not who you are. I mean, unless you're actually a horror film person, in which case that's separate. I'm talking about people who normally write like romantic comedies trying to write a horror film here. So you go off and you write it, it's probably going to be a turd and it'll be out of fashion. Okay, it's not going to be good because it's not who you are. A lot of people say, well, write what you own. Like if you own a car and a house, write something about that. It's like, no, stop. Write what comes from your heart and then figure out how to make it on the budget you have with the things you have. And that might be adapting your script later. Like I wrote a script called Detention 101. I'm releasing that this year, so it's on my mind. And it was written originally to be talking heads because we were all stuck home for the pandemic. And then I decided, no, I'm going to make a feature and I'm just going to write it the way I would write it. So I wrote this script and then I figured out a creative way to make it during a pandemic, stuck at home without being able to be in the room with other people. And honestly, I think it's a really great project. And one thing that has come out of it is everybody saying, wow, I've never seen anything like this. It's something new and different. And that's how you get to new, exciting, and different. If you just keep listening to the producers of the world, and I don't mean the day-to-day producers who are working their butts off on sets making things happen. I'm talking about these, think tank producers, the people, who are strategic, basically they're just working for the banking industry of the corporate film world. But if you think like them, I'm sorry, you're losing your artistry. You might very well write something that's in fashion. You may be a horror film writer who likes to write things with a lot of chainsaws in it, and that may actually happen to hit at the right time. Good for you. But it's not going to hit as well. If I tried to write that, it would be a turd. I can't write a horror film. I don't like them. So think about what you want to do. Think about who you are and what you want to talk about. And that's where really great writing comes from. It comes from a place that you know